Hi everyone, thank you for coming to the walk today and the ribbon cutting ceremony. My name is Caitlin Goulet and I'm gonna hand the microphone over to my sister Christina in just a second. We're gonna do our introductions up here and then we're gonna walk up the bike trail to the beginning of the solar system walk to do the ribbon cutting ceremony. So Christina.
Yes, hello. I'd like to start with saying thank you all for coming. And first I'd like to thank Westfield Bank for sponsoring us in this whole project. Thank you to the DPW for installing the signs, and especially Fran Kane for helping us. Yes. I'd like to thank the Friends of the Columbia Greenway, especially Kathleen Hillman, for helping us with tips and suggestions along the way. We worked with Kathleen on several other activities on the bike trail during the past few years, and she's always provided a guiding hand and answered any questions we've had. And believe me, we've had a lot of them. Now, you may be wondering what a solar system walk is. It's a scale model that shrinks the enormous distance of the solar system down to 1 mile. In this model, every foot that, every foot that we walk is equal to 530,000 miles in space.
Three, two,
One. Can you hold these? Okay. So now we're going to give you a tour of the solar system, or at least a tour through the sun and the 8 main planets. The walk spans about 1 mile. Again, each foot is equivalent to about 530,000 miles in space. So it's pretty vast. So we're going to start with the sun. The sun is a star. It's just not as far as those that we see at night. It's comprised primarily of hydrogen and helium, and it's responsible for the life that we have here on Earth. If we continue down, does anyone know the first planet on our stop?
Well, are they in order?
They are in order. Mercury, that's right. Now, believe it or not, we are now 36 million miles away from the sun. Now, you can't see Mercury with your unaided eye, but it orbits so close to the sun, being the first planet in our solar system, that it doesn't rise too high in the sky. So if you go out when it's out, you can use any apps on your phone. I recommend Stellarium, Sky Safari Pro, it's on the App Store. You'll find Mercury, and it's only a very faint yellow pinkish dot in the horizon. It's only slightly larger than our moon, so it's a very small planet, and it doesn't have an atmosphere, only a very, very thin exosphere. That's because the solar winds from the sun just push all the gases off. And Mercury's small, it doesn't have the gravitational pull to keep the gases close to it. 1 day on Mercury takes 59 Earth days, and 1 year on Mercury takes 88 Earth days, so it's a pretty quick year. And if you're standing on Mercury, the sun would appear 3 times as large and 7 times as bright. Okay, so that's Mercury for you. Now we're going to go over to the second planet in our solar system. Does anyone know what that planet is?
Only Venus.
Venus. The planet Venus is named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. And we are now 67 million miles away from the sun. Sorry. Venus is known as Earth's twin planet, Earth's sister planet. It's about the same size as Earth, about the same composition, but we wouldn't want to live on Venus. It's the hottest planet in the solar system at about 900 degrees Fahrenheit. So we would burn to a crisp in just a matter of minutes, even seconds. That's because Venus is cloudy. It has volcanoes and its atmosphere is thick. So it traps all the sun's heat and energy within it, and the temperatures just go up and up and up. It's the brightest star-like object in our sky, so Venus is known as either the evening star or the morning star. But remember, it's a planet. And it's been known since the days of antiquity. Its day is longer than its night. Its day is 243 Earth days, but its year is only 225. And it's the first planet to have ever been visited by a spacecraft, Mariner 2 in 1962. It was a flyby. And it also spins backwards, so clockwise instead of counterclockwise, like all the other planets in our solar system.
And describe what you mean by a day.
A day?
What does that mean in this context?
Yeah, so here on Earth, a day is about 24 hours. So a day is when the Earth rotates, like this. Now, all the planets rotate differently, some faster, some quicker. So I like to correlate their rotational speed with the rotational speed that we know here on Earth. One day is 24 hours. And then their year can be different too. That's how long it takes a planet to orbit the sun. So that can be different as well.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So on to our next planet. We've now reached the planet Earth. Yeah, it's very familiar. It's the planet that we're standing on. Now, Earth is my favorite planet in the solar system. And I tell this joke every time I give a solar system walk. And there's one reason why it's my favorite. And it's because it's the only planet in the entire universe, not only our solar system, with Oreo cookies. It's found in the habitable zone of our solar system, so the temperature is just right for liquid water. It revolves around the sun at about 67,000 miles an hour, and it's named after the German word ground, and it's the only planet not named after a Roman or Greek deity. So that's the planet Earth, and now we're going to continue on our walk through the solar system. Okay. We've now reached the planet Mars. We are 142 million miles away from the sun. Now, Mars is known as the red planet because all its soil is made of iron, and iron rusts. So that reddish color is just a bunch of rust that you see on the surface of Mars. It's a dry desert world, and it's about 2 times as small as Earth. A day is about the same at Earth, about 24.6 Earth hours, so just a little bit longer, but its year is 687 Earth days, so it's pretty long. It's named after the Greek god of war, Ares, and it has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos, also known as Fear and Panic. Because of their irregular shape, their scientists have theories that they're actually captured asteroids around Earth. And they're on degrading orbits. So as they orbit Mars, after a couple thousand years in the future, they'll slowly get closer and closer to Mars and then crash into the surface. So that's Phobos and Deimos. And it's a very interesting observation in a telescope. You can make out features on its surface, like the polar ice caps on the North and South Pole on Mars. And you can see the different deserts on Mars, the darker areas of its surface, the lighter areas. It also has Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system, and Valles Marineris, the largest canyon system in the solar system. It's long enough to reach from New York City to Los Angeles. It's up to 125 miles wide and 6 miles deep. That's 20 times as wide as the Grand Canyon and 5 times as deep. Over the years, NASA has sent 5 spacecrafts to touch down on Mars and to traverse its surface. We have Sojourner, Spirit and Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance. Now, Perseverance is one of my favorites. It landed in about February of 2021, and it carried on it a helicopter named Ingenuity. And it took 72 flights from Perseverance, the rover, and it flew around Mars collecting different data until it crash landed and it was inoperable. But that's always a fun fact I like to put out there. There's actually a helicopter on Mars, or there was, not anymore. So that's Mars for you. Now we're going to go off to the planet Jupiter, and we're also going to travel through the asteroid belt, so be really careful for any floating debris. We've now reached the planet Jupiter, and we're 484 million miles away from the sun. So we're pretty far out. It's the largest planet in the solar system. It is named after the king of gods in Roman mythology. It's about 90,000 miles across, and 11 Earths side by side can fit along its equator. It's very massive, and if we took all the other 7 planets, squished them together, and doubled it, Jupiter would still be more massive than all the others combined. It does have the smallest rotational period in the solar system, though. Its day is only 10 Earth hours long, which is great for an observer. I mean, I could set my telescope right after the sun fades behind the tree line, and I could observe Jupiter, take a quick nap, and then go out a few hours later, and there'll be new features coming on as Jupiter rotates. But because of its fast rotational speed, it bulges around the equator. Its equator is traveling much faster than its poles, so it's almost an egg shape up in the sky. It's very well known for its atmospheric bands covering its surface. It's a gas giant, so it's made up of gases and storms on its surface. And it has a great red spot that we all know and love. It's a giant storm on Jupiter that's been raging for at least 300 years. It has 97 moons. 2 were discovered this year in July. But its 4 most popular are the 4 Galilean moons, discovered by Galileo Galilei, one of the first to point his telescope up and observe the night sky. They're Io, Callisto, Ganymede, and Europa. And Jupiter also has a small ring system, not as big as Saturn's though. Scientists have a theory that Jupiter is actually a failed star. If we look at its chemical composition, it's made up of hydrogen and helium. So scientists think that when the solar system was first forming, if Jupiter was 75 times as massive as what it is now, it would be a star much like our sun. But that's a theory. There are many other theories saying otherwise, but I think it's a fun fact that I wanted to share with you all. So now we're going to continue on to the next planet. We've now reached Saturn, and we're 886 million miles away from the sun. Saturn is the second largest planet in the solar system, and it's known for its beautiful ring system. There's 7 main rings that make up Saturn, and they're all made up of little chunks of ice, rock, and dust. Its day only takes 10.7 Earth hours, but its year takes 29 Earth years. So it takes 29 Earth years for it to completely revolve around the sun. It has a very low density, so if anyone has a pool large enough, we can put Saturn in the pool, and its rings would all sink to the bottom, but the planet would stay floating at the top, which is pretty cool. It has a fast rotational speed just like Jupiter, so it's a bit of an egg-shaped with its equator kind of bulging outward. And it has the most moons out of any planet in the solar system at 274 moons. 128 new moons were just discovered just recently, about 9 months ago, or they were confirmed. Life is not possible on Saturn because of it's a gas giant. There's no surface for us to stand on, but it has moons. So life is possible on some of its moons that are orbiting around the planet. We've had NASA's Cassini spacecraft orbit Saturn and take gorgeous pictures. And it even carried a probe named Huygens that landed on a moon and did some studies to see if life truly is possible on these moons. And it landed on Titan, Saturn's largest moon. So that's Saturn. Its rings were discovered by Galileo Galilei. He was one of the first to point his telescope upwards to the night sky. And when he first looked at the moons, he thought they were ears around the planet. So we've come a long way through our knowledge of astronomy and the planets in general. Now, does anyone know our next stop in the solar system?
Chew.
Yeah? Uranus, that's correct.
Oh, we have to stop by Chew. What is your percentage?
Okay. We're now at the planet Uranus, and we're 1.8 billion miles away from the sun. So we're pretty far out. And Uranus is what we call an ice giant. It's one of two. Neptune's also an ice giant. And Uranus is known for its unique tilt. It has a ring system much like Saturn's, not as big, and they appear to go up and down on the planet. That's because it's tilted almost 90 degrees. And now there's a few theories as to why this is. And my favorite and the most popular for astronomers seems to be when the solar system was first forming and Uranus was first forming, an asteroid came, hit it, and then knocked it on its side. Now, Uranus is also the coldest planet in the solar system, and this theory kind of lines up with, oh, bike coming through, watch out.
It's like a flock of geese.
And this theory lines up with the asteroid hitting Uranus because when a planet first forms, there's a lot of heat that makes that planet possible. And when the asteroid hit Uranus, it released a lot of that heat, so that leads Uranus to be the coldest planet in the solar system. It has methane in its atmosphere, so that means it's a blue-greenish color. And its day takes 17 Earth hours, so it's pretty quick. But a year takes 84 Earth years, so it's really long. It spins backwards, much like Venus, just on its side. And its moons are named after the literary characters from Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. Voyager 2 in 1986 has been the only spacecraft to visit it, so it's a pretty lonely planet. So that was Uranus. Does anyone know our last stop through the solar system? Neptune, that's right. Now, our solar system is bigger than these 8 main planets. But, you know, there's Pluto and then the Oort cloud, which is all the remainder material of when the solar system was first forming. But we limited it to the 8 main planets for this walk. We've now reached Neptune, the 8th and the final major planet in our solar system. We're 2.8 billion miles away from the sun. Now, in the solar system walk, we're a mile away from where we started. And it really goes to show the vast distances in our solar system. Now, Neptune is so far away from the sun that it takes light 4 hours to go from the sun all the way to Neptune. 4 hours. It's 30 times as distant as Earth, and Uranus was the first planet discovered with a telescope in the late 1700s. Neptune, it wasn't discovered with a telescope, it was discovered using math. There were astronomers that were studying the orbit of Uranus, and they realized that there was something wrong with it. There was another big body, a planet out there, tugging on Uranus and impacting its orbit. So they did the math, and they plotted where this imaginary planet would be in the sky. They put their telescopes on it, and they found Neptune, which I think is really cool. So if you ever ask your teacher, how can math be used in the real world, bring up Neptune. 16 moons have been discovered around Neptune, the largest being Triton. Triton is the only large natural satellite to travel in the opposite direction as its planet. And scientists have the theory that Triton was kind of found elsewhere in the solar system and then pulled in and captured by Neptune, and now it's its moon. It's an ice giant like Uranus, and it's the densest gas giant in the solar system. It's in a 3-to-2 resonance with Pluto. So for every 3 orbits of Neptune, Pluto orbits the sun 2 times, which makes sure that they never collide, because Pluto's out there. And Voyager 2 in 1989 has been the only spacecraft to visit it. So it's a pretty lonely planet. This is the end of the walk here. We're about a mile out from where we started. So I'm going to start walking all the way back. You can feel free to ask me any questions. And thank you all again for coming on our solar system walk. If you're ever on the bike trail, riding a bike, roller skating, walking, jogging, running, be sure to check out our signs. It's for the community, and it's really made by the community. So again, thank you all for coming. It means a lot. Thank you to Christina for helping me, Kathleen Hillman, and everyone who made this possible. Thank you.